Welcome to another episode of Mick and the Fat Man, where we are talking artists, albums, and everything music. Well, welcome everybody to another exciting episode of Mick and the Fat Man, Series 4, Episode number 7. G'day, Mick. Happy rock and roll to you, sir. And how are you travelling?
Mate, I'm doing very well indeed, and I'm feeling very rocky this week.
Oh, mate, you're looking Rocky too. You look like Rocky 2, in fact, the second movie.
At the end of the fight.
Yeah, yeah. Look a little
I'm
bit.
feeling a bit that way, yeah.
I just wanted to just point out to everybody, all of our listeners out there, folks, I'm hoping Mick and I both, I hope you enjoy the podcast, and we have a lot of fun doing them. And obviously we don't make any money doing it. You've got to be up there in the upper echelons to make money out of podcasts. It's quite difficult. And purely the enjoyment of having a lot of people enjoying our loud-mouthed opinions is great. But to help us to get out to a lot more people, we've got a favour to ask you. And if each of you listening could send the link of Mick and the Fat Man out to one of your friends who you think might like it, or even a couple of that you think may not like it. And just, maybe if you let us know if you do, that'd be great, because we just like to increase our listenership just a little bit. We've had some episodes that have done great, and we're still gradually rising up, but we feel that we have more to offer the world. What do you reckon, Mick?
Well, I think absolutely. It's purely ego to boost our flagging, saddened egos.
That's right. Anyway, let's move on. Mick, we did have a bit of feedback from our one of our friends of the show, thanking us for talking a bit about David Lindley in our Songs for Driller podcast. So that was great. Really appreciate that.
Yeah, that was very nice of Nick to contact us again. Nick, where are you from? Send us a note. Tell us where you live.
Yeah. Great. Yeah. He actually likes us, so we like talking to people that like us.
Absolutely.
Mick, I know you've got another exciting episode planned for us today. The beautiful pink blow-bite travel bag with its luxurious interior is bursting at the seams. What do you got for us this week, mate?
Mate, this week, Johnny Cash, the American recordings.
Just the Americans?
Well, it's called American Recordings because he did them for American Records, and we'll explain a bit about that very soon. But it's a series of 6 albums that he did between 1993 and 2010, and I love Johnny Cash, but this is possibly some of the best work he's ever done, or he ever did during his career.
Fantastic. I look forward to that indeed. So just before we kick off into that, I've just got a couple little things to get through. I know you like us to have a little bit of an interlude of interesting things that I can find. So let's just have a little bit of a play with this. Well, it's time to wander once again through the crazy world of those rock gods as we talk legends, lies, and lunacy. That's right, Mick, and I've got something fascinating for you. I was, you know me, I have a little bit of a wander around the internet a fair bit.
Well, you are a YouTube queen after
I
all.
am a bit of a queen when it comes to that. And I found something that came up that was 10 bands that you would not believe exist. So rather than do all 10, I thought I would just do 5, and we'll just play a bit of this, and I'll just talk a little bit about the band as they go along. Okay, so let's have a listen to some of the bands you would not believe exists. This is Winny Puhh, Nick. Winnypuhh. And oddly enough, they're an Estonian metal punk band.
The best kind.
Don't you love Estonian metal punk bands? formed in 1993, was so quite popular in Estonia, oddly enough. And in fact, in 2013, got to the finals of the Estonian Eurovision Song Competition to get into the Eurovision Song Contest. And I would have loved to have seen Winnie Puhh in the Eurovision Song Contest, wouldn't you?
Well, I don't think they had a chance because, for a start, they don't have a woman with a beard singing.
They do have a man who looks like he's a bit of a werewolf, though.
Okay, yeah.
And I will put a link to this in the show notes. It's you've got to see this to believe it.
Yeah, even when you see it, you won't believe it, folks.
You will not. Now, the next band we're going to have a listen to is The Residents. And The Residents are an American art collective. Now,
always worried at somebody who describes themselves as a collective.
So did you say an art collective? You think, what the fuck is that? They're an art collective and an art rock band, best known for their avant-garde musical multimedia works. I don't know what that means. But anyway, since their official release, Meet the Residents, in 1974, would you believe, 1974, they've released over 60 albums. Now, I don't know how many of these albums you've got in your collection, Mick, but I don't think I've got any.
I've got their touring videos.
They've produced numerous music videos. There you go. There they are. Short films, CDs, DVDs. They're fascinating. But have a listen to them. Just tell me what you think of this. Good, isn't it?
I'm entranced.
So this band now, Mick, is Mac Sabbath. And they're oddly enough, a parody band based on, obviously, Black Sabbath. They're a tribute band to Black Sabbath, per se. Dress up as McDonald's characters and sing McDonald's songs to the tune of Black Sabbath songs.
I think it's important because, as we've discussed recently, the characters have all gone out of McDonald's promotions, and they're featuring there live on stage singing Black Sabbath songs. Mayor McCheese,
and then they've got the Hamburglers in there, and what was the purple thing? I can't remember what the purple thing was called. Do you remember?
I don't care.
No, don't care. But anyway, so they have, so they do all these parodies of Black Sabbath songs, and like for example, the Paranoid is a pair of buns. Pair of buns. Iron Man is frying pan. Sweet Leaf is sweet beef. Never Say Die is Never Say Diet. So yeah, mildly amusing. At least they don't not taking themselves too seriously, but they do play what sounds pretty much like Sabbath music. Now the next band is a bit of an interesting one. A band called Shat. The lead singer is basically nude, a bit of a bear-like sort of man, a generous belly, and like covered in. Dildos, I think, is the best way to describe it. He's got a hat on with lots of dildos on him, and he's got dildos taped to himself and wearing an artificial dildo on top of his dildo.
Which seems like kind of overcompensating, really.
Yeah, so they're a band. I found a review of this band. So it says, there are bands that make funny music and there are bands that try but fail. Shat fail. Musically, Shat are a competent punk band similar at times to System of a Down, Early Black Flag or Germs, to name a few. However, Shat's secret weapon is singer Jeff Wood. He's one of the most single-minded lyricists in recent memory, focusing his muse on bodily functions, sex, pornography and sexually transmitted diseases.
Comprehensive.
As a result, Shat are offensive in every possible way. Some of their songs include Gonorrhea Fountain, Tit Fuck, and Grandpa is Playing with His Penis. So let's just have a little bit of a listen to Shat, shall we, Mick?
I can't wait.
So, yeah, musically interesting, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I couldn't understand a word that you were saying, and that's probably a good thing given your description of the contents.
Yeah, and interestingly, I've chosen the names of songs that are the least offensive in the list that I could find. Because I know sometimes you get a little bit worried about it.
Oh, I do, yes.
Now, the fifth one in this list is a band that we actually know and love, and in fact, from my memory, has actually been on television in Australia and called TISM. This is Serious Mum is the full name of the band. 7-piece anonymous band. They've always had face masks on, sometimes dressed as the Ku Klux Klan and that type of thing, and have done some great songs over the years, including I Might Be a Cunt, but I'm Not a Fucking Cunt. The Ballad of John Bonham's Coke Roadie. Never Mind the Bollocks. Here's the House of Representatives.
Yes.
So yeah, TISM, they're a great band, actually, I think.
Everybody help yourself. Australians all did once rejoice in our shared commonwealth. Help yourself. But now, if you're Australian, help yourself. Help your goddamn self.
So yeah, help your goddamn self. Yeah. So 5 of the bands that you wouldn't believe exist. Now TISM I did believe exist because I did know them beforehand. But Shat, I think, is one that's got me a little bit, got me by surprise a little bit.
I think you've outdone yourself with that little segment, Jeffrey. You've found a bunch of bands that are all eminently more sensible than yourself.
Yeah, that's right. And now just to finish off, do you know what today is? And we'll be coming out with this episode not too far in the future, so we'll still be relatively topical. Tay-Tay's new album's coming out.
Excellent. Can't wait. I wonder how many boyfriends she's going to pay out on this album.
She's happy now. She doesn't need to, does she?
Oh, she's got the footballer fellow.
Yeah.
And, she's just come to Australia, so naturally enough she's happy.
She's happy as pig in it. So, so Mick Tay-Tay is going to be bringing an album called Tortured Poets Department.
I read that and I thought that was another one of your bad taste jokes.
No, it's true. It could be a movie, though, couldn't it?
It could indeed. You wouldn't put Robin Williams in it, not anymore. But
not anymore. Let's move on, shall we?
Yep. Yeah. But before we do, I told you I was feeling rocky. We'd just been to see Ed Cooper.
Oh, yeah, I forgot we had to mention that.
Yes, just to prove that we're still somewhat relevant, or at least as befits aging rock stars who were in big bands in the 70s.
And the thing I noticed about when we went last time, just recently, it wasn't totally full of old men.
Absolutely not. I was really fascinated. It was people in their 20s, a lot of women.
Yeah.
And they were getting into it more than the blokes.
A lot more. I saw a friend that I used to work with there.
Yeah.
As in a she.
A she
Friend.
Yes, a she friend. Yes, yeah. No, and I did the groupie thing and went up to the roadie and said, "Can I go back and say good day to Ed?"
And you did.
I did. And he was a lovely fellow.
What did you say to Ed?
I said, "Mate, don't want to take up a lot of your time. I know you've just done a show. Very, very respectful I was." And I said, "Just wanted to let you know that we saw you at the show in Sydney towards the end of last year, and tonight's gig." Both were great. We're really, really pleased that you're still going and still churning out this great stuff.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Sycophant to the end.
And then he said, fuck off.
Oh, words to that effect, yeah. No, he didn't. He was very polite and tolerant of a possibly over-imbibed fan who was gushing. But I left before I embarrassed myself, and I said, "Thanks, appreciate that, Ed. We'll see you next time."
Oh, it's great. No, it was a very good show. Really good show.
Yep, it was indeed.
And we saw him at the factory at Marrickville.
We did.
Good venue.
Good gear. And look, as you pointed out, the show we saw last year at the recital hall in Sydney, perfect sound, great venue. You could see from everywhere, and three tiers of window boxes and all sorts of things. But this show the other night with the factory, more like a pub gig, so it had a lot more electricity in the air.
He seemed to rise a little bit to the occasion and seemed to be a bit more into it, I thought.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
I mean, we could just be making that up and frothing with our own bit of bullshit, but it did feel a little bit more pub giggy type thing.
And all I've got to say is if anybody, I mean, I don't know how much more of this tour Ed's got, but if you see a gig with Ed, do yourself a favour. He is really, really good live.
And he did quite a few different songs as well compared to the last time.
He did, yeah. But all the stuff that bits from The Laughing Clowns, Eternally Yours, stuff from the Saints, and stuff from his own top grade albums.
Yeah, it's great.
And
what?
Another piece of news.
What? What are you coming out with news for?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm treading on your patch.
Ooh.
But this is an important one. For those of you who are absolutely enthralled by our Husker Du and Bob Mould episode a couple of weeks ago, Bob's touring.
Yay!
Yay! We've got our tickets. And,
Yay!
Yeah, I know. You're going to hate it. Because I've been listening to some Bob live since then, and he's very loud.
I'm going to be your friend.
Yeah, it's good on you.
I want you to have someone to take.
Yes, yeah, that'll be good. He is great live. He's wonderful live, and he's on in Sydney on the 29th of November. He's on in Melbourne on the 28th, and he's on in Brisbane a day or two after that.
Where's he on in Sydney?
He's on at the Metro.
Oh, that's right.
In Pitt Street.
Yeah, okay, that's not a bad venue.
Yeah, so we're looking forward to that, and I'm sure we're not going to peak too early on it, so you've got plenty of time to go and get tickets. I can't imagine him selling out overnight.
No. So let's move on. We look forward to that, and I hope you do too. Let's move on. Welcome to another reading from Robert Dimery's Gospel, 1001 albums you must hear before you die. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. And today, Michael, I turned open to page 359 and found Abba. Arrival, 1976. Produced by Benny and Bjorn. Art direction by Ola Lager, my favourite beer. And Room Soderquist. Running time 33 minutes. They didn't put a lot of effort into it. 33 minutes, 33 seconds. They've had massive chart success in Australia. In fact, Australia was one of their biggest venues for chart success.
Look, and rightly so.
32 singles, 6 number ones, 14 albums, all in the top 100, 3 number one albums. So just a massive. And by the time the ABBA began working on their fourth album in 1975, they'd achieved a modest level of success around the world, but it's Arrival that really got them going, took them to...
it heralded their arrival.
They really arrived in a worldwide sense. It's got some of the classic ABBA songs on there and some lesser-known ditties, I would think.
Yeah, look, ABBA... I love ABBA, yeah, because by every criteria of what we listen to and what we talk about, they should be terrible and one should hate them. But I was brought up on ABBA, and they were the contrast to everything else that I listened to. They were great.
So back when this album came out, I remember I used to work in school holidays at a place called Ancol, not far from where you used to live.
Yeah, we used to work. And
remember, we used to be down the back, and there would always be music playing, and Money was huge.
Absolutely.
And be on the radio all the time. We'd all stop and dance around when Money came on.
And that's how appropriate.
It was,
A bunch of buffhead teenagers working with an over-egged supervisor whose proficiency was evading work and stealing stuff.
that's right. He just walk out with something down his duds, didn't he?
Every night. Unbelievable.
That's right. I've forgotten that. It was big. It was a big part of our life. So, Mick, what do you think of Arrival?
Mate, it's great. It's got the songs. It's got the ones that we all know. Dancing Queen, which got onto the Triple J Hottest 100.
And
once you do that, you got your credibility sealed.
However, the first song on the album, When I Kissed the Teacher. Now, you'd be locked up for that nowadays, wouldn't you?
Oh, you'd be cancelled.
You'd be cancelled. Everybody going pedophile.
Yeah.
They start calling you George Pell and all that sort of stuff, or whatever. Who knows? Don't know. Depends on what the teacher is or who they're kissing.
That's right. Yeah.
But yeah, it's a pretty controversial song, I would have thought.
Pretty risque. Yeah.
It goes into My Love, My Life. No,
Well,
it's not.
as long as they're not still singing about the teacher.
Dum Dum Diddle comes in after that, and that is a shit song. And I have no idea.
I love the lyrics.
But why would you put a song like that in there? It's just an awful song, Dum Dum Diddle. And then there's that other song. Which one is it? Is it Tiger? I think it is. It's a instrumental, like a Scottish sort of Highland instrumental.
Well, they were good. They were good players. Benny and Bjorn.
They were in fact classically trained.
Indeed.
And used to draw a lot of inspiration from classical music for their own songs.
You mean they used to steal it?
Is it still stealing?
I don't know. I really don't.
I don't think it's stealing anymore, is it?
You mean it's past the copyright expiry?
I don't know. But look, it's inspiration when it's that old and it goes into a rock song.
Yeah, like if we go on too much about it, we'll have to start picking on Deep Purple.
Yeah. Or whatever else there is.
Yeah, half the bands that we listen to.
Half the bands in the world of
That's right.
steel music.
Yeah, absolutely.
Common 3-chord progressions are part of
That's right.
the whole thing. So what's the other one? Of course, Knowing Me, Knowing You.
Knowing You, in which they put their indiscretions and unfaithfulness out on the board for everybody to see.
And I still have in my head that knowing me, knowing you. That's the thing. Oh, I don't know. And the other thing to remember is, as you know, Mick, that we were a young male teenager at the time.
Yeah. Hormones are raging. Is this what you're talking about?
Yeah, and you and I both loved Benny, didn't we?
Yeah. Benny the Bee, we used to call him. Yep.
Anyway, great album. So thank you very much for that, ABBA.
And they're still getting royalties for that one.
Yeah, and I have never seen the movie, the live show they did, which was the hologram show they had.
No.
Never saw that. But anyway.
It was our loss.
Yeah, probably never will either. Anyway, Mick, over to you. Let's rip into some American recordings, mate.
By 1993, well, let's look at a bit of history.
Let's have some history.
Got any history music?
Oh.
No, let's not. No, look, Johnny Cash has been around since 1955. So he's one, in terms of longevity, he's one of the longest.
It's only a couple of years older than us.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, his career.
Oh, his career, sorry.
Yeah. Plus a few years of being a child and a toothless little boy.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the American Recordings Collection, it's a series of 6 albums by Johnny on American Records. Now, American Records, it's the label that used to be known as Def Jam Records. Yeah, Rick Rubin. We've talked about Rick a few times. What a great producer he is. He generally focuses on punkish type bands and hip hop.
Indeed.
But occasionally he brings stuff within our orbit, and he certainly did that with Johnny Cash.
He was the go-to hip hop producer.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Even though he's always looked old.
Isn't that funny? Yeah.
He's always looked old.
Yeah, and he's a big bloke too, well over 6 feet and solid.
And the other show that we've talked about is when he's done that the show with Paul McCartney.
Yes.
And just pulling the mix apart with the Beatles songs and stuff like that. Great show.
Yeah,
Great show.
and certainly both of them had the credibility to be able to do that. Listen to what he's done here, listen to what he's done here.
It's fantastic.
And Rubin's got a great approach to music. He doesn't do let's throw everything but the kitchen sink in. Let's try and control what they do. He's not like Stock Aitken and Waterman or someone like that who is a production house or was a production house that takes the artist and puts their style over the top. He's a far better producer in that he understands the artist and looks to sympathetically enhance what they do. Yeah, and this is what he did with Johnny Cash.
Yep. Yeah.
So these albums, 2 of which were released after his death in 2003. So they feature a combination of standards, songs he'd done before, and newer songs by artists who probably weren't even born when Cash started his career.
No, definitely not.
Yeah.
Definitely not.
So, look, American 3, Solitary Man, 3 of the songs were one he'd done earlier in the 70s and 80s, and that's fairly consistent across all of the 6 albums. But I've always been a fan of this series of songs, and when you look at the way Rubin sequenced them on the album, the way that Cash plays them, and the way, and we'll talk about some of those songs as we go through today, the way that Rubin and Cash have worked together, and the way that the songs have been put onto the album. It really doesn't matter that the song was written in 1947 or 1994 or whatever. It's Johnny Cash, and all of those songs go into the melting pot and come out as Johnny Cash.
A number of years ago, I went to a music shop in Sydney called Len Wallace Audio at Laredo.
Yes.
Top of the pops. You want to go. You take the mortgage out on your house and you go and buy yourself a pair of speakers there and things like that.
Yep.
And I went in there and I don't even remember what I was. There's no way I could have afforded anything they had in there at the time, but I went in there and I was asking to listen to some speakers. Kept on playing songs off these albums.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
because they're just so beautifully produced, so magnificently produced, and the quality is just sensational.
That's my thinking. Rolling Stone stepped up to the mark on this one too.
Did they?
We'll touch on that in a minute.
Yeah, it was just great. So I'm sitting in Len Wallace Audio, all these thousands and thousands of dollars speakers, and I'm listening to On the 309. do. Fantastic.
He is really the album's great. The albums are great. A series of them. Look, Johnny Cash. He's like that big redwood in the world music industry, the American music industry.
Sure.
If you like music, he was born in 1932. Oh. So by the time any of us or our listeners were born, he was well and truly over the first blush of youth, and he died in 2003. Interestingly, he died within a year after his wife June, who was the love of his life. Yeah. He was huge, absolutely huge in the 50s, 60s and 70s. Lots of hits, things like Ring of Fire, I Walked the Line, Folsom Prison Blues. There is no one in the world. There's caves in the back of Inner Mongolia or Tibet where people sing those songs. They chant them as they light their candles and incense.
That's right.
Absolutely. And they might put a bit of an accent on them, but nonetheless, everyone in the world knows those songs.
My name is so...
Well, it's funny you should say that. Let's keep the connection through our episodes. His 1969, that song, A Boy Named Sue, was written by Shel Silverstein. Okay, who's Shel Silverstein?
I'm asking.
He's the guy who wrote cover of the Rolling Stone for Dr. Hook and the Medicine Show.
Really?
On the cover of the Rolling. And, even better, he wrote the Ballad of Lucy Jordan for Marianne Faithfull.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, so he was this great songwriter. Admittedly, some of his stuff had a humorous tinge.
Yeah.
And that song certainly did. But the delivery is as much behind that song, the success of it, as simply the writing.
Yeah. Great song.
So I remember, look, reviews, you read reviews over the years. Some you file away, some you don't. But I can remember reading one that talked about the first album called American Recordings. That was the first in the series, and I think they just picked up the name colloquially, call them the American series, and that has now become its name.
Because I don't think the first album was really part of the American It wasn't necessarily called the American Recordings.
That was its name.
Yeah.
The series wasn't thought of as the American Recording, so it's the other way around. Yeah. But they took that name, and we'll talk about how they did it and how Rubin did it and all of those things. But that started the sequence of these 6 albums.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so I remember reading a review of that first album, and the reviewer was talking about his grandfather who went to a concert which had a double bill of. This is how big Cash was at the time. Double bill of Elvis Presley and Johnny Cash.
Oh wow!
Yeah. So, and Grandpa says Elvis, he's pretty good. He's all right except for those foolish hip movements. But Johnny, he's got presence. And the Man in Black. Yeah, he's there.
I must admit, it is amazing how much controversy those hips were in the time.
Oh, Elvis the pelvis.
Yeah, I know. It's just amazing.
Yeah, but I think let's keep it in perspective, because there were other artists who were revered as much as Elvis Presley, and Cash is one of them. Johnny Cash himself, he ran into a few bits of controversy through his life, and he had a bit of trouble.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Mainly to do with pills, amphetamines.
Yeah.
He had a struggle, close to 30 years struggle to throw them off. But he says, sometimes I'm two people. Johnny's the nice one. Cash causes all the trouble.
Is that right?
They fight. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So later Cash formed a band called the Highwaymen. Outlaws and so on. Yeah. And look who's in it.
Yeah.
Johnny Cash, Waylon Jennings, Willie Nelson. That's before he got really old. And Kristofferson.
That's right.
All of whom individually are fantastic artists. Right. And the 4 of them together. That
great band. Yeah,
they were described as the Mount Rushmore of American music. So you get the 4 of them together. Yeah, who needs presidents when you got those guys? And it played on Cash's reputation as the Man in Black. Yeah, and there's a very prosaic reason for him wearing black.
Oh.
Back in those days, the artists actually had to work for their money and go out on quite extended tours, and they're sitting on the bus, right, and go from town to town.
Yep.
Black was the easiest colour to keep clean.
Oh, there you go. That's why you always wear black.
I always wear black, because it just keeps me clean. Not that I'm idolising Johnny Cash or anything. Yeah.
I'm going to run with that though.
I think that's a good. Which one, the idolising or the keep it clean?
The Johnny Cash thing.
Yeah, I think that's good. Yeah, you just call me the Man in Black. Yeah.
Okay, done.
Yeah. So he was. He had a regular cycle of use, rehab, and then falling back into problems, all the way up until 1992, where he finally kicked him. 11 years before he died.
Jesus.
Yeah. So, I feel for him, but it's the way it is.
Yeah.
There's one great anecdote that I read that talks about the time Cash had a car crash, and the cops found some of his tablets in the car, and the sheriff didn't bust him. It was a local sheriff.
Yeah.
Sheriff instead he sat Cash down and said, "Boy, you got talent," and that's the last accent I'll do, folks. Boy, you've got talent.
I said, "Boy,"
yeah, and he said, "You got a great future ahead of you. The drugs won't help." So he let Cash go on the proviso that he went into rehab. One of many times he went into rehab. Yeah. So there's lots of quotes from artists about them taking drugs and why and how and what it does. But Cash said, and I had a friend who was on painkillers for he had a nasty form of cancer.
Oh, right.
He was on painkillers, and he said, "Geez, they bloody won't let go." So that really opened it up for him. It wasn't just some spoiled rock star. This was just an ordinary bloke like you and I. But Cash himself said, "I was taking the pills for a while, and then the pills started taking me."
Oh God. That's a nice line. It's
It is.
Good line for a song, isn't it?
Isn't it just? Yeah. So, and that's just out of Cash. There's so many quotes from Johnny Cash on those interwebs, that they're really pithy stuff.
Yeah.
And so he had a lot of sympathy for other people. He did a lot of work for prisoners. He had a lot of empathy for prisoners, and might come back to that. But he did a lot of work for Native Americans.
Is that right? I did not know that.
Yeah, he did. He did an album which actually backfired on him. A lot of people said, not interested in this Indian lover.
I need to bloody get involved with Indigenous people for that.
Well, that's right, yes. So he did a 1964 album called Bitter Tears, and we're going to put it on the playlist, but there's a song called The Ballad of Ira Hayes. Now, you might think, I've heard that name. What's that about? Ira Hayes was one of the people who raised the flag on Iwo Jima and was immortalised in that photograph, which was staged, by the way. Yeah.
Yes, I know.
But nonetheless, it was the same guys who'd already done it, and the photographer missed it.
And they then they came back to America and did a tour of America.
Yeah, for fundraising. Yeah. But Hayes fought in World War II, and he had unfortunately the Indigenous person propensity for alcohol, and ended up dying of alcohol poisoning. And the song is absolutely moving. It's look, I'm tearing up just talking about it, but it's a beautiful song, and it's just indicative of how Cash could really sort of chime in with someone and understand their feelings and their pain and so on and so on. So he was not just this far off rock star or pop star or music star or whatever he was. He was definitely a person who cared about other people and tried to help them where he could. Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah, I mentioned before his wife, June. Her name was June, after she got married, a bloody mouthful, June Carter Cash. He asked her to marry him 30 times.
Did he?
Yeah, and she said, no, not until you clean up.
Oh.
So during one of his little rehab stints, she was actually a musician, and she played on stage with him. And so he's there in 1968, and he asked her to marry him on stage. And he was clean at that time, so she said yes.
Oh, wow.
They were married a week later.
And he got on the gear again.
Yeah, we did. Yes, several times, notably. And he had a long and strong relationship with the Carter family. And we've mentioned
June.
Mother Maybelle.
Mabel.
Yeah. In the Rolling Stone 250 Greatest Guitarists of All Time. That was the first episode this season.
The Carter Scratch.
Indeed.
Didn't do a lot for me, but anyway.
No, I wasn't all that excited, but the family itself was very musical and very much involved in a whole lot of aspects of American music.
Groundbreaking, I guess. That's
Indeed. So, after his career, a whole lot of fame, he started, like a lot of artists do, declining in inverted commas, declining in relevance.
Yes.
So people weren't really listening to him anymore. It could well be argued that the quality of his music didn't decline, but the attention span of his audience did.
Yeah, right.
So by the time we got to the early 90s, Johnny Cash had a real problem. He was living legend. And how do you live up to that sort of here's it, ladies and gentlemen, Johnny Cash. Yeah, right. Okay, we've heard about you. Yeah, how many times can you play A Boy Named Sue?
Yeah,
and so that's what he did. Fans of classical country music loved him, but fans of rock music, those who were listening to Nirvana and Led Zeppelin, weren't hearing Johnny Cash and weren't seeing him as a relevant musician.
Sure.
He couldn't get any commercial interest in his current work, so he had a lot of recordings around the place, but labels were saying, well, what's the point in releasing it? No one's going to buy it.
No. Yeah. Always looking for the next best thing.
Yeah.
Next new thing.
Yeah, well, exactly right. Even so, the industry, the core of the industry didn't forget him, and stars were always, calling out Johnny Cash and name-checking him and so on. He was admitted to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame during this period.
Oh.
Which, is not bad for a supposed country singer.
Not no meat feet.
Yeah. So, 1994, Rick Rubin took on the challenge of, because he's the owner of American Records, signed up Cash and said, right, we're going to make you relevant. We're going to make people realise how good you are. So he took it as a personal crusade to do this. Now, to do that, he had to produce. And he said, I'm going to produce your album. And the production that he's taken here is very understated, very beautifully recorded, absolutely beautifully
very
recorded.
Stripped back, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very sparse, very austere, but not to the point of sort of people taste it and go, oh, this is so dry for me. It was just Johnny Cash and nothing else.
But a very rich sound, without a lot of bells and whistles in it. Very, very rich sound.
Absolutely, particularly the first two albums. Yeah. By the time you get to Solitary Man, the third one, you can see that he started to have a bit of a play with putting in musicians, putting in some backing vocals, putting in some piano, things like that. But none of it ever overpowers.
No, definitely not.
Yeah.
Definitely not.
So Rubin didn't want to blow that, and he said to Johnny Cash, "We're going to find stuff that you like to play. I'm not going to try and make you play stuff." And in fact, I think you've got somewhere along the line. We've certainly got in the show notes an interview with Rick Rubin. We'll come to that in a moment. We'll just sort of work our way down here. Rubin described the process of working with Cash as one of gaining trust. Because Johnny's been in the industry longer than anybody. He's certainly been in the industry longer than Rick Rubin.
Sure.
Yeah. And what's this bloody tall, long-haired git going to do for me? So he set up recording equipment in Cash's Tennessee cabin and recorded him singing a set of songs unaccompanied, just his acoustic guitar.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so you can see that sparseness in that first album. He started a process that he maintained for each of the albums. He collected a lot of songs that might be possible for Johnny to record, that was the right tempo, the right key, the right lyrics.
Sure.
Johnny Cash is not going to sing a song extolling wine, women and song, drugs, anything like that, because he has his own, despite the fact that he kept falling off the horse, he had his own very high standards of morality and religious belief. So Rubin would be the first filter. He'd get the songs, and he presented something like 900 songs to Johnny Cash over the period of these recordings. And obviously a lot of them, well, they'd made it through the first filter. The second filter, of course, was Rubin and Cash having a look at them, and Johnny would just go, yes, no, yes, no, and Rick, of course. Have you got that interview? Yeah, okay. Well, just because he's taken the song "Hurt" by Nine Inch Nails, a really heavy duty industrial song, and gets Johnny Cash to sing it.
So this is the process of how we got Johnny to sing it.
The reason we chose the song was because of the lyrics, purely about the lyrics. And at that point in time, both Johnny and I would send each other songs of possible ideas to record. And that was one that I sent him, and he didn't respond to initially. I would send him, at that time we would burn CDs, and I would send him like CD of 20 songs or 25 songs. and he would send them to me.
You burn a CD for Johnny Cash and you send him of different songs.
Of like songs to consider recording.
Yeah.
And we would send these back and forth. And then that I had Hurt on one of the ones that I sent him, and he didn't respond. And usually if he didn't respond, we didn't go back to it, Yeah. And that one, I remember I sent it again, and I put it first on the next CD. And when we spoke about when he listened to the CD again, he didn't respond. I said, check out that first song, and I really feel like that one could be good.
What did you see in that song?
It's the lyrics. It's the lyrics.
Because I feel like there's very few people in the world that would see these lyrics in Johnny Cash's mouth and think this is a good idea, including Trent Reznor.
Yeah. I know that Trent had trepidations in the beginning. But if you listen to the words, if you forget the music, and if you forget what Nine Inch Nails sounds like.
The thing that's interesting, there's another interview with Trent Reznor about this, where he basically says, "This is no longer my song."
Absolutely, yeah.
This is not my song anymore.
Yeah, he's and so many did that. I've got a few thoughts on that, but just that particular interview that you found there, I went and dug some more. It's Lex Fridman's podcast.
Oh, is that Lex Friedman, is it?
Yeah, and he's
Before he became a complete fucking nutter. He's a bit of a right-wing goofball nowadays.
Let's have that discussion separately. I find him quite interesting, actually, because he's probably one of the most.
It's his brother.
Yeah.
It's his brother.
He's very balanced,
Wrong
and
one.
this is an interview with Rick Rubin in general about Rick Rubin's production career, how he does things from February 2022, 1922, and it's really, if you like podcasts, it's really worth looking up. Lex Fridman's a great interviewer because he asks open-ended questions and shuts his mouth.
Yeah, right.
He's really very good.
Yeah, no, it's his brother I was thinking of. His brother.
Oh, yes, that guy, yeah. Look, selecting modern songs was not intended as a gimmick, and Rubin didn't put it up as a gimmick. Oh, let's get some of these songs so we can get some airplay of Johnny Cash sing. Johnny Cash, this old guy, singing new songs. That wasn't it at all. Over his career, Cash has regularly done songs by other people. This is not something new. And in fact, for most American artists, it's not something new. Before people like Dylan and the Beatles, artists sang the Great American Songbook. They all sang the standards.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so this is nothing new, and this really wasn't presented or seen by Cash as something new. It's, do I like this guy's song? In the 1980s, he covered a Springsteen song, Highway Patrolman, totally independent of this process. And then I said that a number of artists still regarded Cash as great. U2, funnily enough.
Yeah.
Well, the Edge dresses in black, so he probably felt some affinity with him.
He's got a hat.
Yeah, well, Bono asked him to record lead vocals for a song on Zooropa, and it was the Wanderer, which is U2 playing and Johnny Cash narrating. So over this song, I read a review that talked this as it's got lyrics that only Johnny Cash could even attempt. Things like, I went out walking with a Bible and a gun. And U2 had written this song for Cash.
Great line.
And do you know the song? It'll be there. It'll be there in the playlist, and it's a great song. Talk about your blend of styles. The covers were simply done. All of the covers over the series of these 6 albums were done, presented with songs old and new as Johnny Cash, the Man in Black. It's not Johnny Cash revitalised or Johnny Cash this, Johnny Cash that. Just Johnny Cash.
Yeah.
Right? Not a nostalgia show. They recorded the first album, the stuff that Cash did with his acoustic guitar in his Tennessee cabin, and whilst he managed to convince him to play a couple live, and you can see there's a couple. He's playing in a rock style venue, and we've got jerk-offs talking while he's playing, but even that lends credibility to it because even with the people talking, you listen to Cash.
Yeah, sure.
It's just this annoying little thing in the background. He does on this album, We'll Meet Again.
Yeah.
Vera Lynn, which is just fantastic.
I know, it's
We'll
good.
Meet Again. I won't even try.
No, it's a great song.
Yeah, so, and that's almost like Rubin wanting a bet each way, so he recorded some live. Because he tried to add into the mix some backing by people like Chad Smith from the Red Hot Chili Peppers, John Frusciante, who else was there? Mike Campbell of the Heartbreakers, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, and it didn't work.
Is that right?
So you know how they can stack stuff up and then strip it away. Well, they stripped it away. So that first album is really something special.
Yeah, right. Okay.
And so recorded in the studio with a bit of live, and that's the way it is. There's themes in that album all the way through. I'm going to talk about them as a collected piece of work.
Yeah.
Right. Because already with the songs, it's looking a bit listy, so I don't want to talk about a list. Or listen to number 2 and you'll get this. No, let's talk about Johnny Cash and the themes, because they're repeated all the way through the album. Redemption, regaining respect, earning respect, and how you do that. Respect in your life no matter what you've done, and respect from your family. So many of the songs really dwell on that. In fact, there's one song called Redemption.
Of course.
Yes. So where someone was once respected and has to re-earn that respect. And a lot of talk about crime and punishment.
Yeah.
If you do the crime, this is what happens. And he's very realistic about the way he talks about those things. I've done this, and now I'm paying for it.
Yeah, like the young kid who borrows Jed's rifle.
Yeah.
Goes out and shoots the Lone Rider.
Yeah.
And gets hung.
That's what happens. Yeah. And that's not an uncommon theme through Cash's songs. And admittedly, many of those he's picking up from other people.
The line, I orphaned his children, I widowed his wife.
Absolutely, yeah.
Great line.
He's pretty heavy duty with some of his lyrics. Whether he writes them or not, he picks them up perfectly and delivers them.
Yeah.
They're just there for him. He's got a lot of sympathy along those same lines for people in prisons. We all know that earlier in his career, he did San Quentin and Folsom Prison Blues.
Yes,
and he did concerts at both of those major prisons, and they're hard-ass prisons.
Yeah.
That's for the really nasty people.
And they went off too. They were
Yeah, they loved it. But he put himself in the position of those and said anybody can make a mistake. There's always people who are just bad. But anybody else, you got to look at their circumstance. And that's the theme of much of his work through his entire career, and certainly brought out strongly by Rubin on the 6 albums that we're talking about here. So he another quote from him, he says, I think there's a little bit of criminal in all of us. Everybody's done something they don't want anybody to know about. Some of us don't get caught. So a very, for a man brought up in country Tennessee, it's very profound understanding of the human condition.
Don't go back for your hat.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, thank you very much, Justice Lee. Yes, and you had to be reading the papers for that one, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. Things like even his treatment of the Mercy Seat by Nick Cave. Yeah, I just love that. I've always loved the way he did that.
I just love the way it builds. It's just.
Yeah, but he does it as a crime and punishment. Nick Cave does it as the madness inherent of someone who's just about to lose their life, knows it's coming and knows he's going to die. He's on death row. So it's a very different treatment of the songs. Cave was absolutely gobsmacked, if you like, for want of another word, by the fact that Johnny Cash did his song. And Cave has always, Cave's been a bit the man who dresses in black himself.
Yeah, sure.
And he's always been a Johnny Cash fan. And he's covered Cash songs on occasions. And another great quote was, it doesn't matter what happens in the rest of my career, Johnny Cash covered my song. So, and he's idolised by people of that calibre, really good people, around the world from all the generations of rock music.
Yeah, definitely.
There's a strong religious theme.
Sure.
In Cash's stuff, reflects Cash's upbringing. So again, as I said, he fell off the straight and narrow on more than one occasion, for a whole lot of reasons. But he always had this deep faith of and belief in God. So whatever you're feeling, of you as in anybody, whatever you're feeling, you've got to respect the fact that Cash does it, doesn't ram it down anybody's throat, and tries to live by it. And he's hardest on himself.
Sure.
Yeah. So, regular mentions in the songs on this 6 albums, if not in his entire career, about Jesus, redemption, the afterlife, all those sorts of things.
Your own personal Jesus, in fact.
Well, in fact, yeah. And we'll come to that in just a moment. Look, it's interesting that Rick Rubin talked about convincing Cash to cover Hurt because of the poetry. You look at the stuff that he's covered on these 6 albums and anything else, he picks stuff with great lyrics that are telling a song that's got pithy little quotes, that's got great lines in them. There's a song called Casey's Last Ride on one of the albums by Kristofferson, obviously another the Highwaymen. Casey sees the lonely men who reach out for anything they can to keep from going home.
That's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really, really good. So the big conversation point about this series of 6 albums is the fact that he covers a lot of modern songs, modern inverted commas. Not so much the covering, but the songs. That he really... We've mentioned Hurt by 9 Inch Nails, an industrial gothic type song sung by Johnny Cash. Yeah, right. No one would have picked it until it was done. But you look at some of the other stuff that he's done. He's covered songs that are hits. So that's, for an artist, that's really putting yourself out there.
Yes,
I'm
it is.
not only doing this song that's written by somebody else, but I'm doing a song that you, as the listener, are already quite familiar with the treatment of that song, and you regard that treatment as the way the song is.
Sure.
So he does things like, he never twisted the songs to make it do whatever he wanted to do, like Hendrix did with All Along the Watchtower.
Sure.
He completely changed that from Dylan's song, and Dylan admitted that that's now the song. No problem. But it's a different approach to the way that he does things. I couldn't find one example of a case where an artist said, "Oh, geez, I don't like what Johnny Cash did to my song." Bloody hell. Never. Not one.
He'd be a brave soul who did.
Wouldn't he just? He did. Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers did I Won't Back Down. Nice song. I like all of the songs that he covered. I like the originals by those artists. But they became a Johnny Cash song.
Sure.
I Won't Back Down. You have a listen to it, and it's already got a suggestion of country in it. So Cash didn't have a problem with listening to it. But you listen to many of the songs that Cash is covering, it's got a resigned tone to it. The Tom Petty's version's got quite a bit of defiance in it. I won't back down. I'm going to stand my ground. All of those good phrases.
Yeah, sure.
But you listen to Johnny Cash sing it, and this is life. I won't. It's almost as if saying, well, I'm Johnny Cash and I can't back down. This is the way it is. This is the way it should be. Don't make me change.
It's interesting.
Yeah, and we talked about the mercy seat. In preparing for this episode, I've gone back and had another really good listen to that. And Cave himself has done several versions of the mercy seat, each one more desperate than the other. He really it's one of his masterpieces as well. Yeah. But did you know that he was so off his face on heroin when they recorded this song that Mick Harvey had to take. They recorded a whole lot of different versions of this song. Some of them were totally incoherent. Some of them were strong. Bits of them were strong, and Harvey had to slice and dice all the different versions to come up with the final version that we know.
Is that right?
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, and that's on the album "Tend to Pray" by Nick Cave, and so that's why that song sounds like the guy's on the verge of madness, because he was.
Wow, that's interesting.
It is. It doesn't matter what happens after this. Johnny Cash covered my song. That's one of my favourite quotes of the entire rock and roll oeuvre. Solitary Man by Neil Diamond.
Sure.
Look, Neil Diamond is Neil Diamond, and he's a great songwriter, fantastic songwriter. But when Cash got hold of it, it is so resigned. I'll be what I am. I'm just a solitary man. Love can't find me anybody who's going to be nice to me. I'm all alone and I can't find love. He did One by U2. He just picked it up and
it's great, isn't it?
Flogged it to death. He does a song by Will Oldham, I See a Darkness, which is lovely. Rusty Cage by Soundgarden, which has got Chris Cornell screaming. And then Johnny just does it. Rusty Cage. Personal Jesus. You mentioned that one a minute ago. Yeah. Depeche Mode. Cash regarded this song, Depeche Mode, English, electronic type music, your own personal Jesus, which was written exactly the opposite of the way that Cash thought it was. However, when you take the lyrics, isolated from the iconoclastic stance of the band, they're really some nice lyrics. But apparently the name came from Priscilla Presley, who regarded Elvis as her own personal Jesus.
Is that right?
Yeah, do you like that?
It's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, and Dave Garn, who wrote it for Depeche Mode, said that, look, it's a song about being a Jesus for somebody else, giving hope to somebody else, which is not quite a religious song at all. But then, typical of the responses of people who were asked, because they have to get a clearance to record somebody's song. They don't just do it and say, "Oh yeah, but we'll pay you." So Rubin's people went to Dave Gahan's publishing company and said, "Johnny Cash wants to have a crack at your song," and the rest of the band was, "Should we? It's a little bit strange, Johnny Cash." And Dave Gahan says, "What, are you crazy? That's like Elvis asking." Of course you let him do it. And then he goes on to say, and of course it's a great version, just fantastic, but it really propelled the song to another dimension.
Yeah, beautiful.
He did Bird on a Wire by Leonard Cohen, and it's a beautiful song. Willie Nelson's version is almost... Well, Willie Nelson was old, and he was playing it for that. A man looking back on his career of his lifetime, but Cash added a new dimension of resign. Life goes on, life happens.
Willie has a Keith-like status, really, doesn't he?
He does. Yeah. How is he still alive? Yeah. So, look, and I reckon it's my own personal view, my own personal view that, look, Cash selecting Bird on a Wire just further goes to reinforce the reputation of Leonard Cohen as one of the songwriters of the century.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, agreed.
Absolutely. Yeah. There's a couple of little surprises in there. Do you know the song by Olivia Newton-John, "Down by the Banks of the Ohio"? That's an old traditional song, right? A murder ballad, no doubt. And our Livy did it before Johnny Cash did it.
And it's one of the few songs on the album where the original artist is actually significantly better, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know about better. Yeah. But again,
Sugar Sweet though.
Yeah, we know the original, and that's the one we benchmark it by. So he's just done. I'm not going to try.
No, but it's funny, isn't it? Because when you hear Olivia's song, it sounds like almost like a bubblegum pop sort of song.
Absolutely, yes.
It's not a serious song.
Yeah, and then Johnny Cash gets hold of it, and
it's a serious song.
I've just murdered my lover.
But you would never know that from Olivia's version.
It's a lot soppier. Yeah, that's before she started wearing exercise gear.
Yeah, and got physical.
There's another song that I think you've got a couple of clips here. There's a traditional song called "Streets of Laredo," and I found it interesting. I've got a special liking for this song because John Cale did this song as well, and if you would think that the version by John Cale is about as different from Johnny Cash as you can well imagine, you'd be right. You want to play just a couple of seconds of each?
Who do you want to hear first?
Cale first.
Okay.
Because we'll come back to Cash.
It's not very Johnny Cash-like, is it?
Not Johnny Cash-like.
Quite Cale like that.
A very, very Cale, yes.
As I went out walking the streets of Laredo, as I went out walking.
Now hear how different Cash's version is.
Today.
As I walked out on the streets of Laredo, as I walked out on Laredo one day, I spied a young cowboy.
It's a bit different.
A wee bit different, yeah. Cash treats it just as a song. Yeah, this is what I saw.
The thing, the album, I can't remember which number album this is, but the cover on that album is sensational. It's like 80% black, and just down in the corner is the photo of Johnny Cash with the left hand side of his face lit up. Magnificent photo,
absolutely beautiful,
fantastic photo. Just contemplative photo, and just the word. It's just a great album cover.
And it says Cash.
Yeah,
That's all it says, yeah. Look, they're works of art. All of the covers of these albums. Yeah, you've got a lot of imagery to work with Johnny Cash, but whoever did it didn't take the cheap, easy way out. I know you've pointed out before that the photo on American One was taken out back of Australia, out the back of Bendigo. But it could be anywhere in the world. It's not something that's, hey, look, here's Johnny Cash in Australia. It's the man in black in a long coat. Filmed
the other one I like is the one of him in a corridor. It looks like he's at a venue.
Backstage at a concert, yeah.
That's a great photo as well. Another very similar, but you can see all of him just standing there, head bowed. Beautiful photo.
Head bowed, religion, hints of everything, detail of nothing.
Yeah.
And it's just beautiful.
That's fantastic.
What else we got? We got that's Solitary Man, the one you're talking about of him backstage. 4 and 5 close-ups on Cash's face.
Yeah.
Very pensive and gaunt. And then the one exception is the photo on the 6th one, which is called Ain't No Grave. I think it's Johnny Cash.
As a boy.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. This kid with no guile, just looking straight down the barrel of the lens, and no hint of what's going to happen to him for the next 70 years.
Yeah. No, very interesting.
Cash's voice through all of this recording. And it's a lot of work, and he's had to have a look at many of these songs well before he played them, for the recording. So he's getting on, and he's had some respiratory illnesses and things, and all sorts of problems, and some of the damage that he's done to himself over the years with amphetamines. His voice is surprisingly strong on most of the stuff that you listen to, but he does start to show some strain by the third album.
He does start to wave, doesn't he?
Yeah, you hear in Solitary Man, he has a bit of cracking voice. Yeah. And there's things like on that same album, tracks like Lucky Old Son. Again, he's a bit gravelly.
But I find that fascinating because you watch the gradual decline of the man. He's growing older, because it's going over a fair while.
Yeah.
He's growing older. His voice is getting weaker, and you just. But the songs are still just as strong. I find that a really fascinating progression.
The physical aspect of his voice. You're dead right. The physical aspect of his voice is he's getting older. We all do that, but
it's getting a bit
Johnny
thinner.
Cash behind it is still there, like this bloody great redwood.
Yeah. But it's getting thinner. And as we've said, we've seen artists where they have to have backing vocalists to actually make the song still sound any good.
Thanks, Brian Ferry.
Yeah, Brian Ferry. Paul McCartney's the same. He's got bugger all voice left.
Yeah,
but this is deliberately done this way. It's just that's what he sounds like, and it's just it's left there with all the warts and all. It's great. It's really good.
Exactly. One of my favourites. Again on Solitary 3, I love that album. It's midpoint of the series, so it's got some strength, and it's starting to take a little bit of a few risks in some of the recording. He's got more backing vocals, more backing instruments, nothing allowed to overpower it.
Yeah.
But Mary of the Wild Moor, and you listen to that song, that'll be on the playlist, and it's a beautiful and sad, it's a traditional arrangement about a woman who comes back to her father's house, and you're left in some doubt about whether he ignores her or just doesn't hear because there's a storm outside. She's got a baby. The wind, she dies of exposure on his front door. He comes down the next morning and finds her. Yeah. Oh, it's just absolutely, it's a beautiful song. Don't do it when you're feeling maudlin. You'll end up bawling. And Cash's delivery has a lot to do with that.
Maudlin, what a great word.
Yeah, it's been done by a lot of people, including Dolly Parton and Maria Muldaur of Midnight at the Oasis.
Maria.
Yes. Who'd have thought that?
God.
So, there's a lot of great top-line stars playing on this collection of albums, but their presence doesn't overshadow. It's not allowed to.
Yeah, that's right.
Right. Or even distract from Cash's performance, because if you could listen to it and say, oh, that's Jimmy Page, well, not Jimmy Page, but, that's Nick Cave playing piano. You'd be listening for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it doesn't happen. But there's people like Nick Cave, Benmont Tench from the Heartbreakers, and Mike Campbell, John Frusciante, Don Henley, Billy Preston, and so on and so on. Lots and lots of people.
Yeah, people who just want to play with him.
Well, absolutely. Yeah, that's going to be one of the highlights of their career. Many reviewers correctly say that there's flaws with this series of albums.
Sure.
It's people, it's human. It's not, it's not like a Jeff Lynne album, ELO, which is, produced within an inch of its life. It's Johnny Cash. There's no distractions to hide the fact, as you say, that he's getting old and his body is failing him, and that's the point of the series.
Did you say you had a Rolling Stones review there? Or not?
No, I don't have the specific review,
right.
but Rolling Stone correctly pointed out that there's flaws in this series.
Oh, good on them.
Yeah,
No, that's the way.
Yeah. If you're going to say something about somebody, you might as well say something negative.
Not be positive.
Yeah,
Let's not do something we might regret later.
that's right. Look, absolutely. Look, what I love about this series of recordings, and you've got to listen to the playlist. There's a couple of playlists. Those of you who are on Spotify, I'm going to lift a playlist that's already on Spotify called The American Recordings, which is every song, right? And but we're also going to put the Mick and the Fat Man selection of just the stuff we've talked about.
Yep. Okay.
So that's there. But what it does, this whole 6 albums highlights Johnny Cash as the bedrock of rock music through generations. So it doesn't matter what generation the song came from, it's Johnny Cash. He's not performing the songs in the style of Johnny Cash. He's simply as Johnny Cash. Yeah, and it's a wonderful collection of music, and I think more so than anything else we've talked about can be listened to by any generation.
And on that note, we'll finish up, Mick, but let's just pause briefly to mention what we've got coming up in the next episode.
Mate, we've got something really special that we are really going to enjoy, and it's our first ever live in the studio interview with Jarrah McCleary, who with his band Panama is leading the charge towards a new style of music and a new style of distribution of music. So we've enjoyed talking to Jarrah, and it's really, really a fascinating interview, and I think you're going to love it.
We look forward to having a chat to Panama, and that's it for us, ladies and gentlemen, and we will see you next time. Well, that's a wrap, and thanks for listening. Don't forget to subscribe. It's free. And if you like this, tell your friends about us. Also, contact us at mickandthefatman@gmail.com. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Thanks very much. See you next time.